Welcome to today's deep dive. So, we've got a really fascinating one for you today.
Yeah, this is definitely a topic that kind of forces you to completely rethink how you view the world.
Exactly. I mean, usually we're looking at things through a pretty standard, scientific or historical
Right,
lens.
the usual logical frameworks.
But today we're unpacking a very specific, deeply provocative piece of writing by an author named Sui Feng.
It was published recently, right? January 2025.
Yeah, January 2025. And it's titled Revelations from Two Miraculous Events.
It's a bold title.
It really is. And, just to set the stage for you listening right now, this text takes two very extreme real-world events that just happened and blends them with some heavy spiritual philosophy.
Which is an intense mix, and we should probably put a quick disclaimer right here at the top.
Oh, absolutely. Go for it.
We are not here to, endorse the spiritual claims in this text or even debate the theology of it. We're totally impartial today.
Right. We're not taking sides.
Exactly. Our goal is just to step into the author's worldview. We want to unpack this really fascinating argument he's making about the nature of reality.
And divine intervention. Because, the hook of this essay is just, it's wild. What if the key to surviving physical disasters has absolute nothing to do with emergency preparedness?
No go bags, no flood maps.
Right. What if survival is dictated entirely by the state of your soul?
It's a massive paradigm shift.
Yeah.
And he builds this argument on two very specific incidents.
Yeah, let's get into the details of those because he doesn't just pick vague coincidences.
Now, these are highly publicized disasters.
The first one happened on November 17, 2024 in Atami, Japan.
I remember seeing the footage of that. It was terrifying.
Completely terrifying. It was this massive, deadly mudslide roaring down mountain. But then, inexplicably, it paused.
Just stopped.
Just stopped for exactly 16 seconds.
Wow. 16 seconds.
Yeah, a highly specific, seemingly impossible window of time. And that pause gave a van driver who was trapped just enough time to scramble out of his vehicle.
And he escaped unharmed.
Completely unharmed. And right after he got out, the Earth just resumed its violent collapse.
That is, our modern brains immediately scramble for a mechanical explanation for something like
for
that.
sure. We want to say it was friction or a rock getting wedged.
Exactly. We talk about anomalies in fluid dynamics or something, but Xufeng uses a second event, too.
Right, just a few weeks later, January 7, 2025.
The Malibu wildfires.
Yeah, a raging wildfire tore through Malibu, California, and it was an absolute inferno.
It destroyed, what, over 700 homes?
Over 700, just vaporized them. Yet when the smoke cleared, emergency responders found this single, pristine mansion sitting flawlessly in the dead center of the charred devastation.
Totally untouched.
Completely untouched. I mean, it's like a glitch in the Matrix.
That's a great way to describe it.
It's like someone hit a literal pause button on gravity in Japan or dropped an invisible fireproof dome over that one house in Malibu.
And, we are so desperate to map classical physics onto these anomalies.
Because the alternative is scary.
It's fundamentally unnerving. The idea that the physical laws we base our entire reality on might occasionally just be suspended.
So, okay, the author says these events defy the material world's laws. Is he suggesting this is just like a lucky anomaly?
Not at all. He's claiming this is a deliberate, targeted intervention.
So someone or something is pulling the strings.
Right. Xufeng actually points out a psychological blind spot we all have. He says the greatest creator, that's his term for the divine, reveals himself daily.
Like in everyday things.
Yeah, the orbit of planets, the blooming of a seed. But because those things are consistent, we usually just ignore them.
We domesticate the miracle.
Domesticate the miracle. I love that phrasing. We label it nature or science, and we just stop marveling at it.
So for the divine to actually get our attention, it has to break the rules.
Precisely. A mudslide pausing defies gravity. A fire neatly sidestepping fuel defies basic chemistry.
It demands our attention. But if physical laws were actually suspended in Japan and Malibu, what new rules dictate who gets spared?
Well, Xufeng argues these aren't random glitches. They're evidence of a totally different set of laws governing reality.
The rules of the spiritual garden.
Exactly. If the material laws fail, the spiritual laws take over.
Okay, so if I want this invisible fireproof dome over my house, what are the criteria? How do I get divine protection?
According to the text, it's about internal alignment. He lists very specific criteria.
Which are?
People who hold good thoughts, speak good words, do good deeds.
Okay, sounds like standard moral guidelines.
Right, but he adds possessing a profound reverence for the Creator, for life and for nature.
Reverence, that's a heavy word.
It is. He claims that a perfected soul is vastly superior to money, power, fame, wisdom, or human connections.
Okay, I really have to push back hard on this right now.
I figured you might. It's a huge claim.
It is, because it's one thing to say being a good person brings peace of mind, right?
Sure.
But the author is making a massive absolute claim here. He's saying that being favored by heaven makes you literally immune to fire, water, plagues, terminal illness, disaster.
It challenges everything modern society believes about random chance and science.
It totally does. And honestly, taking this at face value opens up a really uncomfortable paradox for me.
You mean the victim-blaming aspect?
Exactly. We all know, or we know of, genuinely kind, deeply reverent people who have lost everything in natural disasters.
Yeah, wonderful people succumb to terminal illness all the time.
Right. So if Shuifeng is claiming a pure spiritual garden guarantees absolute physical immunity, the unavoidable flip side is that anyone who dies in a tragedy just didn't have a pure enough soul.
And that feels really wrong to our modern sensibilities. It attributes catastrophic bad luck to a personal moral failure.
Which is just, it's a tough pill to swallow.
It is the ultimate friction point in any absolute spiritual framework.
Right.
But to understand why this essay resonates, we have to look at the psychological utility of what he's saying.
The psychological utility, what do you mean by that?
Well, modern humans live with this terrifying knowledge that the universe is just completely random.
Oh, for sure. A rogue wave, a sudden rock slide.
Chaos can end us at any second, regardless of how good of a person you are.
It's the terror of the unpredictable. I mean, it's why we buy insurance policies, right?
Exactly. We want the illusion of control. And Shuifeng is offering an ultimate locus of control.
Ah, I see. By claiming spiritual purity dictates physical safety, he's trying to put order back into a random universe.
Yes. There's a direct quote from the text that explains this mindset perfectly. He says, "Wherever divine power reaches, the rules of the material world simply fail."
That's a powerful way to frame it.
It really is. And he's not just talking about being a vaguely nice person who recycles.
Right, he's talking about absolute reverence.
Right, a state of spiritual resonance so unwavering that you basically transcend the jurisdiction of material laws.
Wow. So most of us are just too entangled in the anxieties of the material world.
And because we're entangled, we're subject to its physical dangers.
Which means all our pursuit of material wealth, educational degrees, corporate ladders.
He views all of that as entirely misguided compared to perfecting your inner garden.
He actually says, there are no impossible things, only those that we cannot imagine or fail to think differently about.
He's actively asking the reader to abandon the whole modern, materialistic definition of cause and effect.
So a bank account can't negotiate with a wildfire.
Exactly. A corporate title cannot pause a mudslide.
Which makes me wonder, where does this specific framework come from? Is this just a 21st century reaction to modern anxiety?
No, actually, he explicitly roots this philosophy in antiquity. He wants to give it historical gravity.
So he's building on something older.
Much older. He directly aligns his worldview with the teachings of Jesus Christ, Buddha Shakyamuni, and Laozi.
Oh, wow. The big hitters.
Yeah. By invoking them, he's pointing out that the most enduring spiritual systems in history share this same radical premise.
That the unseen world governs the seen world.
Exactly. He relies heavily on ancient wisdom. There's this one quote he uses. "Heaven's mechanisms are the most profound. What use is human ingenuity?"
Think about that mapped onto the Malibu fire. Human ingenuity is like a state-of-the-art sprinkler system.
Or fire-retardant roof tiles.
Right. But heaven's mechanisms are whatever invisible force decided to part the flames around that specific house.
It forces you to realize the limits of our technology. We try to engineer solutions to outsmart nature.
But those solutions still operate within nature's rules.
Precisely. Shuifeng is suggesting that you cannot engineer your way out of a system from within the system.
You have to align with the force above it.
Right. And he quotes another text. "If one corrects their body and mind, true essence and spirit will reside within, and great talents and virtues will arise from them."
So shifting the focus entirely inward.
The outward fortress is just an illusion to him.
Which brings us to this core metaphor he uses, which I find really helpful. He describes human existence as a journey for life, and he capitalizes it. L-I-F-E.
A journey passing through the human world.
Yeah. And he divides humanity into two distinct travelers on this journey.
The wise traveler and the foolish traveler.
Let's break those down because this makes the philosophy so much more tangible.
It really hits the pavement here.
So, the wise traveler. According to the text, this person simply enjoys the scenery along the way.
They aren't trying to possess the road or hoard souvenirs.
Right, they're just present and appreciative. And the author claims this traveler is actively protected by heaven.
And then you have the foolish traveler.
The foolish traveler is chasing after money, wealth, fame, power.
Sweating over every little detail of the material world.
And inevitably, the text says, they are abandoned by heaven.
The psychological mechanics of this metaphor are actually brilliant.
How so?
Well, think about what happens when someone is obsessed with a singular material goal, like hitting a revenue target.
They get extreme tunnel vision.
Exactly. They become hyper-focused on the future
Yeah.
and completely disconnected from their immediate environment.
So to synthesize this for you listening, it's like treating life as an all-inclusive scenic road trip.
I like this analogy.
Right, so imagine you're on a treacherous coastal highway. The wise traveler is driving mindfully. They're looking out the window, feeling the tires on the road.
Noticing the weather changing.
Exactly. And because they're present, they are naturally attuned to reality. But the foolish traveler treats that same beautiful, dangerous highway like a high-stress business trip.
They're ignoring the scenery just to chase a bonus check.
Yeah, head down, frantically day trading on their phone, screaming on a headset.
And if a rock slide suddenly breaks loose on that highway, who is in a better position?
The wise traveler, obviously.
But Zhang goes beyond just physical reaction time here.
Right, he says the foolish traveler has anchored their soul to the very things the rock slide destroys.
By clinging to the material world, they ensure they are crushed by its unyielding physical laws,
While the wise traveler who holds no attachment is somehow lighter.
operating on a different frequency.
It's fascinating, and it ties right into his ultimate conclusion.
Which is that among all worldly concerns, purifying the soul is the absolute greatest endeavor.
It's the ultimate distillation of priorities. I mean, we are constantly told to chase the next degree,
The next promotion.
the next physical safety net. But this text offers a radically different paradigm.
It suggests that cultivating a perfect spiritual garden and just enjoying the scenery is actually the ultimate shield against the chaos of the world.
It's basically saying we're optimizing the wrong variables.
We feel anxiety not because we haven't prepared enough materially, but because the material paradigm is inherently unstable.
Wow. That's a heavy thought to wrap up on. But it leads perfectly to something for you, the listener, to ponder on your own.
Yeah, forget the extreme examples of mudslides and wildfires for a second.
Just think about the core philosophical challenge here.
If we truly deeply believed that refining our air thoughts and maintaining reverence could literally alter the physical reality and dangers around us,
How would that change the very first thing you choose to do when you wake up tomorrow morning?
would you immediately grab your phone to check the news?
Absorb all the chaos of the material world? Or would you take 10 seconds to check the frequency of your own thoughts?
Because if this text is right, it's not the emergency notifications that will save you.
It's the state of the garden inside your mind. Well, that is a wrap for today. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive.
See you next time.